Hello and welcome back to another Final Table commentary. If at any point in time you find yourself not caring for the commentary, there'll be a link in the description down below to the video and BCP Poker Replay's YouTube account, so you can go check out the action in some silence. With that being said,
prepare for battle.
Oh yeah, we got a 25k from Scoop 2023. We're not in the money yet, which is super interesting. We got a couple of short stacks, Oxada, Pabritz, Straight Money Homie with 21 blinds, Smelly the Hero with 28, Sir Watts with 36, Pivgar with 37. They're going to open up the ace and the 10. We got Zola with 50 blinds. We got Great Dant with 70. And then European with 82 bigs in first place. So like I was saying, we're not in the money yet, so we're going to get to understand some of that ICM stuff they talk about. Boopity boo. Or I guess we're going to get an exemplified situation. That's probably the wrong word to use right now. We should probably restart, but with that being said, we're just going to power on through. King and a jack for Zola, going to open it on up. Sir Watts with an ace and a king. In the big blind, we'll go for the 3-bet. So what I was trying to say is, we're going to get to see Sir Watts, Smelly the Hero, Pivgar, really practice the ICM, what's the right word here? See, we should just restart, but we're going to power on through. They're going to practice the ICM practices. Smelly the Hero with an ace and a jack will raise it on up. Oxada with a king and a jack. Interesting stuff. They go for the call here, playing off 9 blinds. This is unexpected. Ace 2-2 flop, super dry board. Smelly bets a big blind. And Oxada can surely let this go. Boopity boo, boop, boopity boo. Very interesting call pre-flop. So they're down to 7 bigs. They're in last place. With the ICM ideas in mind. They don't mind, I suppose, going to a flop. As they rip in the ace and the 4. European with an ace and a 9. I think we're going to see a call. Boopity boo. Couple of clubs out there for European. No 4 for Oxada. No chop pot. And we quickly lose a body. So Oxada says, I'm playing the short stack. We just need to pick up some chips. Good luck to us. They rip in the ace and the 4. They call with the king and the jack. Look to make a pair on the flop. Both times things go wrong for them. They swiftly exit the tournament. Pivgar with a couple of 6s will raise. Did we just see 10-10 fold? Smelly the Hero. See, this is what I'm talking about. The old ICM bullshit. Smelly says 10-10 hits the muck, and then we see European 3-bet with an ace and a 5 offsuit. And then Pivgar's going to fold the 6s. As we wait for 2 more bodies to bust, and we see Pabritz with 7 blinds, Straight Money Homie with 20 bigs. Doopity doo. Those are the 2 bodies we're waiting to bust. As we see European open up the king jack, ace 9 for Zola goes for the call. Pivgar folds king jack in the big blind. Lets the 2 big stacks go to war. King 5-2 flop goes bet, call, jack on the turn. Interesting stuff. Would have imagined Zola would have ditched the ace 9 on the flop. They're going deep in the tank on the turn here. They will find the fold. They have the backdoor straight draw on the flop, so they say let's go to the turn. Jack is not a good card, obviously, for the ace 9, so Zola lets it hit the muck. European, the big stack with a king and a 3 of the same suit, will raise and take it down pre. Probably going to see a lot of that. And then, like, what does Sir Watts do with queen 10 suited here? They do go for the big raise. 2.3 blinds under the gun. Pivgar with a king and a queen of the same suit. Would love to see a 3-bet, but they're going to go for the call here. 5-5 completes the big blind for Great Dant. 9-4-3 flop. 2 diamonds for Sir Watts. 5s are still good. King Queen of Spades sees a little Betsky on the flop, a quarter pot. They'll let themselves go. Great Dant will come along to the ace on the turn. A good card for Sir Watts to barrel. What size do we go? Like 7 blinds? 7.5 or some shit? He goes 6.3. Great Dant with a couple of 5s. Sees the half pot size bet. And the 5s hit the muck. Jack 9 for Zola. It is suited. We'll see if they open it on up. They're going to open it on up. Again, we're waiting for two bodies to bust. 4-4 for Sir Watts in the big blind. They're going to flop a set. That's good news for Watts. 8-4-2 flop. No spades for Zola, but they do have two overs in the backdoor straight draw. They could go for a little bet. They could check. Look to realize some equity. They go for the big bet ski here. 3.8 blinds into 5.5. And Sir Watts just plays call. Jack on the turn. Bad news for Zola. They could always check the turn. They might go for a little bet and look to check the river. We'll see how they go about things. They go for a check on the turn. 10 on the river. Sir Watts sizing up a bet. He says, let's go for the check raise. I suppose some straights get there. So do we check raise? Do we check call? Sir Watts is going to let us know. Does Zola even go for value? He might just check back the pair of jacks. He does go for a value bet here. 7.8 blinds into 13.2. And then again, Sir Watts sitting here with the set. Do we dunk it in? Do we go for a non-all-in raise? Sir Watts goes 36.7 blinds. That's an all-in raise. And Zola finds the call. He's down to 0.2 big blinds. Oh no, Zola. Surely I thought that was going to be a bet fold. Zola's all in with a 5 and a 4 the same suit. Straight money homie with a couple of 8s. We'll see what the hell happens. They could call. They could just fold. They go for the little raise ski here. Playing off 15, 16 blinds. European with a 6 and a 4 will call the big king 9 5 or king queen 9 flop. Holy shit. See, I should have just restarted. Should have just took the day off. 3 on the turn. European with a little flush draw. Straight money homie with a bigger flush draw. And the pair of 8s are still good, but European puts in a bet ski here. 3.1 blinds. And straight money homie doesn't want to bust, so they're going to fold. The 6-4 will knock out Zola. And just like that, European takes down the pot. It was kind of small, but the chips would have been very nice for straight money homie. But then we see Pabritz with 5 blinds. 1 in the middle. A deuce and a 9. They're going to have an easy fold as Great Dant goes for the big raise pre-flop. European with a queen and an 8. We'll see if they play. Nope. Ace 9 for Pabritz. Looks like an all-in hand for them. Off the 5 big blind stack. Sir Watts raises up ace 4. Does European 3-bet the 3-4? Nah, they go for the call. Do we fold ace 9 now? What the hell goes on here? Pabritz, tell me what to do. Feels like an all-in, but with that being said, you don't really want to go 3 ways with ace 9. So what would be beautiful? Oh no. Ace 8-5 flop. I was going to say what would be beautiful is Pabritz goes all in. Sir Watts raises for some isolation, but I don't think that would even happen with the ace and the 4. So it'd probably just go call, call. European with a little straight draw to the 7. A deuce also works, right? A deuce also works. Do-betty-do-do-do-do-do. They go for the overbet on the turn. Sir Watts with a pair of aces might just fold here. What a play by European. So, okay, we see a call on the turn. Interesting stuff. The overbet does not get through. 33 blinds in the middle. This is a huge pot. I don't have a clue what's going to happen here. 6 pairs of board on the river. The flush draw misses. Straight draws miss. European shows down. The 4 high. Big pot for Sir Watts. They're up to 95 blinds. Didn't he start this thing off pretty short? Like with 26 bigs or some shit? As we see European ripping the ace and the 3 and get it on through. Somebody, straight money homie, throws them the fireworks. You'll love to see it. Ace and a 2 for European. We'll see if they do the same thing. Do. All in dealer. Looks like everybody's going to have to fold. So, the ICM implications. European has really showed us so far. Just put your foot on the gas. Doobity-doo. Sir Watts with a couple of 10s will go for the open. 7-5 suited for Great Dant. And then Great Dant went for the big raise pre-flop with the kings. Which is interesting. It kind of just shows you they're going for big raises. They're going to play a tight range. They're going to hang out patiently. Brits don't go all in. Oh, okay, good. Good fold, good fold. King 10 for straight money, homie. Don't go all in. Fold. He goes for the 2.2 open. 2.2 big blinds. He's got 9 behind. Pivgar with a couple of aces. Smilly the hero with a king and a queen. Doobity-doo. Once Pivgar puts some chips in the middle, we can quickly fold the king-queen. The min raise will get a quick fold out of straight money, homie. That's pretty funny. King 3 suited for Watts. They're going to limp it on in. European with an ace and a 9 is going to go for the raise, excuse me. 3.5 blinds. Sir Watts quickly calls. Queen 8, 5 flop. Nobody's got a pair. Nobody's got a backdoor flush draw. No front door flush draw. No straight draws either. Except European has 6, 7, 10, 10 jack. So European has some straight draws. My bad. More coffee. Jack on the turn goes check, check, jack. On the river goes check, check. And European takes a nice little pot there. About 8 blinds. So straight money, homie, with those pocket 8s, unfortunately had to find the fold. They go for the open with the king 10 off. That didn't work out for him. Brits is hanging on out with queen 8 in the big blind. He might be all in. Great Dan has kings again. But Brits is all in. A couple of spades. Any more? Nope. A king on the river. That will lock the board up for Great Dan. Doopity-doo. King and a queen for Great Dan. Pivgar with an ace and an 8. They're going to go for the open. Great Dan can 3-bet here. They go for the call. Queen 7-5 flop goes check. Little bet? Do we just check it back? We're going to go for a little bet ski here. 2 blinds. Top pair or with a fair kicker. Goes for the call. Jack on the turn. Pivgar will surely slow down now. Just kidding. He's going to go for a big bet. 6.7 blinds into 10.6. And Great Dant goes deep in the tank here. Surely will call. Queen on the river. Do. We love the way Great Dant had played the hand. Had they 3-bet pre-flop, they're not going to see a flop. Call on the flop, call on the turn, make 3 of a kind on the river. Check it over once again, give your opponent the chance to bluff. Doesn't happen this time. Straight money homie is all in with an ace and a 4, the same suit. European with an ace and a jack will make the call. 4 on the flop, but there's a couple of clubs, and European does make the flush. On the turn, they scoop the pot. So 93 blinds now for European. Sir Watts in second place with 91. Great Dant has a great big stack with 75 blinds. Smilly the hero with 21 in fourth place. Pivgar, the short stack with 15 blinds. So now that we're in the money, let's reflect on the whole ICM idea. All I can think about is Oksada's call with the king and the jack. So we're not in the money. Oksada says, I've got a lot of dollars in my bank account, so I don't really care to make the money. I want to try to win the tournament. That must be what's going on in their head. And then Zola with a pair of jacks. It was super interesting. Sir Watts with the set of 4s. They jam all in on the river. Zola says, I'm going to call here, look for a big stack. I want to win the 360k. So that's super interesting. And then Brits busts when Great Dant has a couple of kings. They have a queen and an 8 of the same suit. And about 4 big blinds, they get it all in. Great Dant's kings hold on up. So, it looks like the whole ICM bullshit did not come into play. If we're being honest, I just don't think it affects some of these people. Whoa, that's so cool. So when... You know, we shouldn't get into this, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So my opinion just does not matter, right? But here's what I'm thinking about when it comes to GTO, and then I'm thinking about it with ICM as well. I think great players want weak players to play with GTO and like ICM implications, because they'll just pick you apart. And it seems like they don't give a shit about the whole ICM. They don't give a shit about GTO. Because what makes a great player so great is when they know GTO, but then they can switch up to an exploitive mode of being, and then they just dominate all these people who are playing GTO. So again, my opinion doesn't matter, but what it appears to me is that it seems like great players want weak players to play GTO, and then the great players play exploitive, and then they just fucking wreck the show. Because like Sir Watts, we see him with the big stack now. He made a big call with ace and a 4 against European with a little straight draw. Did they even have a straight draw? They had a 4 high. Sir Watts with an ace and a 4. I don't remember what the board was. Ace high, obviously. As we see Smilly rip it in with an ace and a jack. Pivgar with a couple of 10s. Sir Watts with a couple of 8s. See, this is why I don't talk about my own ideas, or I try not to, because I just forget about the action. Hopefully Sir Watts finds the fold here. Nicely done. Big flipski, jack on the flop, Pivgar's Gonzo Alonzo. But nonetheless, I'm just thinking about the whole ICM stuff, and it's like, these players playing in the biggest tournament, the 25K from Scoop 2023, they don't give a shit about ICM. You know? They want to win the tournament. It seems that's the way they're playing anyways. As we see Great Dant with a couple of queens, ace high board, Sir Watts with a pair of jacks, European with a backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. Boopity boo. Sir Watts puts in a very small bet here. Great Dant will come along. King on the turn. Good news for Watts. Boopity boo. And if we're being honest here, if I had a whole bunch of dollars in my bank account, if that were the case, I would just want to play for the W. So there's only like 34 people who entered the tournament. So I would imagine if we're playing a $25,000 tournament, we've all got dollars in our bank account, right? Nobody's playing this with like a 100K bankroll. Right? You would hope. Unless they satellited in, of course. But nonetheless. So these players, they've all got dollars in their bank account. So they don't necessarily care about making the minimum amount of money. They don't care about min cashing, sorry. They care about making first place where the top dollars are, and they want the frickin' Scoop title. So then what do we think about ICM? Okay, so ICM's got its implications, surely, right? Because when you know ICM, that's when you get to exploit the other players, which is super cool. So in the end, it seems as if the great players trying to implement the GTO strategies, the ICM implications, it makes sense why they're doing it. They want the weak players to do it so they can exploit the fuck out of them. That's the conclusion. As we see European go for a big petski here with the 8 and the 7. Sir Watts with king high. Deep in the tank. He's going to make the call, isn't he? He says, European, you're getting out of line here. He finds the call with king high. Beautiful play by Watts. Holy shit. What a call by Watts. It was a very small bet, but 3.5 into about 4 or 5 blind, big blind pot. Very interesting. European shaking their head after that one. Queen, queen, 3 flop goes check. Bet? Bet? Small bet, 1.5 blinds in Great Dant. Probably going to let go of the jack 8. Queen, queen for Great Dant. Sir Watts with an ace and a 9 will raise it on up. Doopity doo. Great Dant going in the tank. They're going to go for the 3 bet to 10 big blinds. Doopity doo 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 doo. Watts lets go of the ace and the 9, and we're moving along. King 7 for Watts will fold under the gun or from the cutoff. King 9 for Great Dant. We'll limp it on in. European with the queen and a 2 does stick in the raise here. 3.5 blinds to go. Great Dant with that king and the 9 of the same suit is going to call. 7-5-2 flop goes check. What do we do with our little pair of 2s? Got a queen kicker. Plenty of straight draws, plenty of flush draws. We're going to go for a bet ski. About half pot, 3.7 blinds into 7.5. Great Dant with a couple of overcards and the flush draw. Backdoor straight draw surely comes along to the turn. They play call. 8 of diamonds on the turn goes check. Do we check? Do we bet again? What the hell? There's so many draws out there. We don't mind check. We don't mind bet folding on the turn with the queen and the 2. Ace on the river. Both flush draws miss. European will go for a little check ski and scoop the 15 blinds in the middle. Very nice. Ace 7 for Great Dant. Do. We'll raise 2.5 blinds. Sir Watts with a jack and a 5 of the same suit in the big blind will come along to the ace king 5 flop. All hearts goes check. Small bet, right? Nah, goes check queen on the turn. Sir Watts picks up a straight draw to that 10. Do. They're gonna lead out 5 blinds. Holy shit, Great Dant's in a pickle. Hopefully he finds the call here. Nice. 9 of spades on the river. I don't know how I messed up the suit. Put your glasses back on. There we go. That's a spade. 16 blinds in the middle. We'll slide Great Dant's way. We'll see if he goes for a little value bet here. Don't imagine he goes big. He just goes for the little check. Doesn't want to get jammed off his equity. Or jammed off his hand, sorry. 7 deuce for Watts. They're going to limp it on in. Smilly the hero with the 9 and a 10. We'll check it on back. Ace 7 2 flop. That's 2 pair for Watts. Backdoor flush draw. Backdoor straight draw for Smilly. 1 big blind bet. They could stick in a raise. They go for the call here. 4 of spades on the turn. The glasses did not help. Sir Watts bets 5.5 blinds and the 4.5 big blind pot, and the bet gets through. 8-7 for Smilly. They limp it on in. Great Dant with a king and a 2. Do. Ace 9 2 flop goes check. Bet. Let's protect our hand here with our little pair of 2s. 1 big blind to go. And Smilly folds the 3 in a row. 5-7 suited for Great Dant. We'll see how they go about things, playing about 70 blinds deep. They play call. 10-8 for European. Checks it on back. Ace 6 2 flop. Do. Great Dant with 3 in a row. We'll check it on over. European with the backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw. Do. Puts in a big blind bet. And Great Dant folds 3 in a row. I see an ace and a queen for European in the big or small blind, sorry. Great Dant with an 8 and a 5 in the button. I think we raise it on up. They go for the big raise here, 3.1 blinds. European can go for the 3 bet. They can go for the call. We'll see how they proceed. Do. They go for the 3 bet, 11 blinds to go. Just under 4x the raise. And Great Dant will find the fold. They got a king and a 2 of the same suit. They're going to let this one go. Sir Watts with 9-4 suited. Smilly in the big blind with a queen and a 3. Sees the 2.7x raise. Excuse me, and the raise gets through. 7-3 for Smilly. He's going to limp it on in. 7-5 for Great Dant. Would love to see a raise. Just take the pot down pre-flop. They say let's go to the flop. King 3. Smilly makes a little pair. Great Dant doesn't have much going on here. Backdoor straight draw, looking for a 6 and a 4. Well, there's one of the cards. 4 of hearts on the turn. Now Great Dant just needs the 6. A 5 also gets the job done. A big bet also gets the job done, right? 1.5 blinds into 2.5. Smilly with that bottom pair of 3s. Doopity-doo does find the fold. Nicely done, Great Dant. 65 blinds for him. King 10 for Watts will raise it on up. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. 5 and a 2 for European in the big blind. Queen 8-3 flop. And man, European's been playing crazy. But with that being said, he's still in first place. Now second place. Pretty well tied with Watts. Smilly gets a raise through. So it's like through all their crazy action, they've done a great job of accumulating chips. 86 big blinds. Watts with 86 as well. 5 and a 10 will limp in the small. 6-2 will raise and take it down pretty nicely done by Smilly. King 4 suited for European. We'll see if he opens it on up. A7 of the same suit for Smilly. Do-betty-do. Let's go to the flop somehow. Puts in the 3-bet here. 6.6 blinds to go. European gets a fair price. He's got plenty of chips. But I think he's going to fold. Do we 4-bet all in? King 4 suited seems like a 4-bet all in. Or fold. 4-bet to 11 blinds. You'll love to see it. Smilly says, what do I do now? So it's not an all in, obviously. Do we 5-bet jam? He does the 25 blinds, and European quickly folds, gets the the crying emoji and a big L. Beautiful play by European, just didn't work out this time. King and a 9 for European in the big blind. Queen 2 for Watts. Ace King Jack flop. 1 club for Watts with the straight draw to the 10. Let's see a bet here. 1.3 blinds into 5.4. European can't fold just quite yet. Bet's way too small for that. Queen on the turn. We'll probably go check, check. We'll see a river card. Do. Does Watts ever put in a small bet here? No, we're just going to the river. 2 of diamonds. Pretty clean run out for Watts. Making 2 pairs. European with that pair of kings. Checks it on over. There's a 1-liner to a 10, obviously. Spades miss. Watts will check it on back and scoop the pot. Ace and a 5 for Great Dant. We'll raise it on up. 2.5 blinds, and the raise gets through. Ace and a king for European. Smilly in the big blind with a king and a 2 of the same suit. I think we're going to the flop some which way. Smilly could 3-bet. European could 4-bet all in. But we don't see any of that. We just see a call from the big Ace Queen Jack flop. Top pair, top kicker for European with a straight draw to the 10. Smilly with a straight draw to the 10 and the backdoor flush draw. Sees a 4 big blind bet, and he goes for the little check raise here, making it about 11 blinds to go. Just under 7 to call for European. He's not going nowhere here. Don't 3-bet, just call. Nicely done. 2 on the turn. Well. What do we do with our king and our 2 here? What do we do if we face the jam on the turn? I've got no idea what to do. We do see another bet ski, 5.2 blinds. This is not going to work. No siree. European will find the call here, surely. 4 on the river. And Smilly goes deep in the tank. 37 blinds in the middle. Smilly jams. Oh my lord, what do we do with Ace King here? We hate life. Ace Queen, Ace Jack, Ace Deuce, Ace 4. Doopity doo. King 10 obviously. Queen Jack. Look at all the hands, and European says, you know what? We're just going to find the call with our ace and our king. He's got a couple of ducks. Smilly's all in. With a king and a 5. Great Dant with 8-10 in the big blind will call, surely. Queen 2-2 flop. That's 4 of a kind for European, and the board is already locked up. Doesn't look like they're going to get another penny out of Great Dant. They'll just take the 5 blinds in the middle. Doopity doo 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 doo. Great Dant with a 4 and a jack. We'll raise it on up. 10-9 suited for Watts in the big blind. No hearts on the board. That's good news for Watts. Has the backdoor straight draw 2 overcards. Gets a free turn. 9 of clubs. That's a good thing for Watts. He's got a pair now. Oh wow. What a great comment. 1.7 blinds is the bet on the turn. Great Dant with not much doing. No straight draw, no flush draw. Just jack high, lets it go. Do. Jack and a 5 for European of the same suit. We'll raise it on up. Great Dant with a 6 and a jack in the big blind. Will probably... Oh, I thought he was going to fold. He's going to come along to the 10-9 5 flop. Check. Small bet. Nope, European checks back the flop. 3 on the turn. Great Dad checks. Do we just show down the pair of 5s? Or do we put in a little protection bet? European says little protection bet. 1.3 blinds into 5.2. Great Dant again with no draw. We'll find the fold. Ace and a jack for Watts of the same suit. We'll raise it on up. European in the big blind with a jack and a 7 of the same suit will come along to the flop. Boopity boo do 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 do. Goes for the 3 bet with the jack 7 suited. Bad timing. Watts has ace jack suited. Surely plays call here. 10-10 4 flop. 2 diamonds for Watts. Not much doing for European. He does go for a little bet ski here. 5.2 blinds into 21. Watts can't fold the nut flush draw on a paired board. 4 on the turn. Do. 31 blinds in the middle. European will check it on over with their jack high. Does Watts bet here to protect their hand? They're only sweating the 7. A king is not a great card for your ace jack. Hearts get there as well. Would love to see a bet out of European, but they're going to go for the little check ski. Watts will take the 31 blinds in the middle. King 7 for Dant. On the button, we'll see if he raises. Ace 9 in the small blind. Ace 10 in the big blind for Watts. Great Dant does go for the open. European thinking about a little 3 bet here, and he does find it. 8.5 blinds to go. Watts quickly lets go of ace 10. And king 7 will probably also let themselves go to the muck. King 10 suited for European. Will raise. Great Dant in the big blind with a 7 and a 5. We'll call the big. King 6-6 flop goes check. Do we check back on this rainbow board? Top pair goes for a big blind bet. Great Dant with 3 in a row. I'd love to see a check raise here. No, just a check fold. And we're moving along. Ace and a king for Great Dant. European with a 9 and an 8 in the big blind. Limp pot. King 10-5 flop. European with some backdoor straight draws. The backdoor heart draw. We'll see if he comes along. Only 1 big blind to go. Does find the call. King on the turn. Great news for Dant. European picking up no equity. I guess it's not great news for Dant now, is it? He could check it on over. Nah, he goes for the big bet ski and the bet will get through. So yeah, not great news at all. And why would he check? He should just go for some more value. There's too many draws out there to check. Unless he wanted to go for the check raise, which would have been cool. But 9-8 wasn't going to put a penny in the pot. Anyways, we get a limp raise call. 7-3-2 flop. Ace 8 for Watts. European with a king and a 10. Watts will bet 2 blinds. European's in a weird spot with the king high. It could be good here. King on the turn. Surely feels more comfortable now. 12 blinds in the middle. Very likely to slide European's way. 3 on the river. Doopity doo. Don't think there's any way European finds a fold. What if he leads and Watts raises? He does lead for 9.4 blinds. So Watts isn't likely to raise here. It would be super cool. He finds the fold. Doopity-doo. Man, I was just wishing for some action. Ain't no way ace 8's gonna go for the raise there. Ace 8 for dad. Watts with jack and a 4 will limp it on in. Face the raise. No, he gets to go to the flop. Ace 10 9. Watts with 3 in a row will lead out a big blind. Great dant with top pair with a weak kicker. Has 3 in a row as well. We'll play call deuce on the turn. No help for Watts. Doopity doo doo. Great dad. Hopefully checks it on back here. Give Watts a free river. Let him bluff. Nah, he goes for the 2.8 big blind bet, and the bet gets through. King jack suited for Watts. Great dant with an ace and a king. Probably going to see a 3 bet and a call. Unless great dant goes way too large. He might make it like 10 bigs. 9.1. Okay. Watts isn't a big fan of this, but I think we call. Do we just fold? I don't know. King jack finds the call. 10-6-2 flop. No spade for Watts. Doopity doo. 20 blinds in the middle. Great dad bets 3.8. Do we even float or do we just fold? A raise would be sick. And Watts lets it go. Ace 8 suited for European. 9-10 suited for Watts. Sees a 4x raise. Doopity doo. We're going to have to call. 9-8-4 flop. Good news for Watts. All diamonds. I don't know how much European likes this flop with the pair of 8s. Flop goes check, check. Queen of spades on the turn. Watts picks up a straight draw to the jack. The pair of 9s are still good. Doopity doo 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 doo. Until that ace on the river. European makes 2 pairs. And now Watts, I think, has an easy fold. To be fair, we did check down our pair of 9s. We see an overbet on the river, 10 blinds. Hopefully Watts can just let this go. Although it's tempting to make the call. They do find the fold. European with an ace and... nope, that's an 8 and a 6. They'll raise it on up. Ace 5 for Dant in the big blind. Queen 10-2 flop goes check. Then we got a decision with our 8 high. We're going to put in a big blind bet. Great Dant with the backdoor straight draw, backdoor flush draw. Surely we come along to the turn. We even stick in a little raise here, and that will buy the pot. Doopity doo. 2-2 for Watts, raising it on up. Queen 6 for European, and the big blind will call. King 8-8 flop goes check. Small bet. Fold. Nope, goes check, check. 10 on the turn. It's a diamond. European has the 6 of diamonds. Goes check. Deuce, deuce with no diamond. Do we just check now? Do we give on up? No, Sir Watts puts in a delayed C bet. And that one will get the pot. 8-9 for Great Dant. We'll raise it on up, I think. Oh, I'm just wrong. We should just wait for the action to play out before we try to call what's going to come. King deuce for European with a pair of 2s. Watts with jack 8. Backdoor straight draws a couple of... or 1 overcard, sorry. Puts in a big blind bet. European with that little pair of 2s. We'll see what he's going to do. He's going to play call. Ace on the turn. No help for Watts. Doopity doo 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 doo. Seven on the river. Do 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 do. 4 blinds in the middle. We'll see if Watts wants to fight for him. Nope, the pair of 2s is good for the pot. 8-8 for European. Nothing else for nobody else. 2 and a 5 for Great Dant in the big blind. Pretty shit hand. We'll find the fold. Queen jack suited for Watts. They'll raise it on up. Ace 6 for Dant. We'll just lay it down from the small blind. 9-4 hits the muck as well. Jack 10 for Watts in the big blind. 7 Jack for European in the small. Limps it on in. Doopity doo. Watts checks it back. 9-6-4 flop goes. Check. What do we do with 3 in a row? Watts puts in a big blind bet. European has backdoor straight draws, backdoor flush draw, and overcard. Feels like we can't fold. Calling feels weird, so European does go for the raise. Doopity doo. 2 overs, 3 in a row. Watts says let's go to the turn. King of hearts. Not what European's looking for. Doesn't pick up any equity here. We'll check it on over. That Jack of diamonds is a cool card to have on the flop. Pretty shitty card to have on the turn. Doopity doo. Jack on the river. Both players make a pair, and the 10 still plays. So Watts will get this pot, and he might even get a few more chips on top of that. 10 blinds from European. Watts will go deep in the tank. He blocks the straight. The flush draw misses. 8-7 misses. 7-5 misses. Boopity boo. Boopity boo. Watts will take down the pot. 10-7 for Watts. Queen 7 for European. Ace deuce for Dant. Watts folds. Dant limps. European checks it on back. Ace 8-4 flop goes. Bet. No, just wait. He goes for the check. Look how dry the board is. European says let's go to the turn. 8 of clubs. 2.3 blinds in the middle. Will slide Dant's way. He's going to check on the turn once again. European with that queen high. We'll check the turn. Deuce on the river. Great Dant leads 1.6 blinds. And European could make the call here with queen high. 3-5 makes a straight. Doopity doo 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 doo. Nice fold by European. 6-6 for European. King 8 for Watts. Limp pot. Watts says nope. 4 blinds to go. 3 more to call. 10-7-2 flop goes check. Then what do we do with King 8? Do we go for a little Betsky here? Put a little pressure on Europeans' pocket pairs. There's still some flush draws and straight draws that can call us that are worse than us. Doopity doo. Do we get ace high to fold? I don't think so. 6 is call, 5 on the turn. So Watts picks up a straight draw, right? No, he doesn't. My bad. He's got just the pair equity. A king or an 8. We see a jack on the river. European with those 6s will lead for a third pot. And Watts will find the fold. 4-7 for European. We'll lay it down. 5 deuce for Watts. King 2 for Great Dant. Limp pot. Doopity doo 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 doo. Great Dant raises it on up. And Watts folds. Blinds go up. Boopity boo. Aces for European. Great Dant with a king and an 8 in the small blind. Surely gonna limp or raise. Goes for the limp. A European will raise it on up. Let's see what size he goes for. 3.5 blinds. Great Dant gets a fair price. Might still let this one go. King 8 offsuit. Doesn't make straights. Doesn't make flushes. Boopity boo. He's coming along to the flop. The price was just good enough for him. Queen Jack 5. No pair for Dant. Does have 3 in a row. Gets a very good price. 1.8 blinds into 7.3. Doopity doo 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 doo. Do 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 do. And Great Dant goes for the raise here with the 3 in a row. No backdoor flush draw for him. Doopity doo. 7.1 blinds. Europeans played the aces perfectly. Don't 3-bet. Call. Oh, he 3-bets. 13 blinds to go. Great Dant, sorry, will find the fold. What if he 4-bets all in? That'd be horrific. Doopity doo, he does find the fold. 5 and a 2 for Dant. We'll lay it down. European with an ace and a 10. We'll see if he puts some pressure on Watts with the bigger stack. Watts in the big blind with a queen and a 2. Sees a 4x raise and has an easy fold. And we're moving along. European with an ace and a 3. Will raise it on up. Dant with a jack and a 6 in the blind. In the big blind. Oh, the song fucking blows. Let's just stop while we're ahead. Was he ahead? Nope. Let's just stop while we're behind. Cut your losses. Ace and a 3 for European. 10, 8, 7 flop. Great down with the straight draw to the 9. The backdoor flush draw. Boopity boo. Sees a 3-point big blind bet. 3.9 big blind bet. Puts in the check raise. We love to see it. 11 blinds to go. Another 7 to call. European will find the fold. Nicely done by Dant. Ace and an 8 for Watts. Raising it on up. European with a queen and a 9 in the big blind. Ace 9 8 flop. That's 2 pair for Watts. European with a middle pair of 9s. Flop goes check check. Jack on the turn. So European picks up a little straight draw to the 10 here. No diamond for either player. Watts still has 2 pairs. Could put in a little Betsky here. He goes for the check 3 on the river. So Watts is just not afraid. Says let's just go to the turn. Let's go to the river. Has 2 pairs. He's a 1 big blind bet. Would love to see a raise here. Nicely done. 4.6 blinds to go. Watts played this hand beautifully. I don't know if he gets a call, but he still played it wonderfully. European does find the fold with the pair of 9s. King Queen for European. We can raise this up. We can limp it on in. They go for the limp. 8-10 for Watts. We'll check it on back. 4-4-3 flop. 2 clubs for European. Not much doing for Watts. 2 overcards. He's going to stick in a big blind bet here. European with 2 higher overcards. We'll find the call. 3 on the turn. Double paired board. 2 flush draws out there. Sir Watts is 10 high. Surely, well, I suppose he's way down in his range. He might just fire away. Doesn't necessarily have the equity to bluff with, but he's got the hand that sucks balls. So he may as well try to get European to fold king high, and, well, it gets the job done on the turn. Nicely done by European. By Watts. Unfortunate hand for European. 9-10 for Watts. We'll limp it on in. Great Dant with a jack and a 4. 9-6-4 flop. That's top pair for Watts. Bottom pair for Dant. Boopity boo. Nobody's got a spade. Great Dant doesn't have a backdoor straight draw. 8 of clubs on the turn. Watts does pick up a straight draw. Leads on out with that top pair for a big blind. Great Dant calls 4 on the river. That's pretty unfair, Poker Stars. Pretty unfair. Sir Watts will lead 3.5 blinds. And Great Dant sizing up a raise here. Would love to see it. Sticking a raise, sticking a raise, sticking a raise. What size do we go? Something like 10? 11? Nah, 10.1. Doopity doo 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 doo. Doopity doo 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 doo. And Sir Watts. What do? We lay it down. Nice fold by Watts. Do 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 do. 8 and a 7 for Watts. We'll just fold the button. Ace and a 6 for Dant. Do 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 do. Limping it in. European with a queen and a 10. Raises it on up. It is suited. 3.5 blinds to go. Dant says, okay, let's go to the flop. I got an ace. Queen 6-3 flop. European with the flush draw. Top pair. Dant with middle pair. Backdoor nut flush draw. Well, wee wah. Sees a 1.8 big blind bet. Can't fold yet. Jack of hearts on the turn. Things are interesting here. Great Dant could turn his hand into a bluff if he wants to. He could also just call and go to the river. He could get priced out of the pot if European overbets. Do. We see a 3.6 big blind bet. Dant cannot fold to that. He could turn his hand into a bluff though. Plays call queen on the river. Again, Dant can turn his hand into a bluff here if European bet's small enough. They go 13.7 blinds. Great Dant will go deep in the tank. I've got no idea what to do. I like a bluff more than a call, but a call makes a lot of sense here. We block the nut flush, even though it's a paired board. We block sixes. Doopity-doo. Great Dant goes for the call. And sees the bad news. The thing is, we're not getting a flush to fold, right? So should we try to bluff with the ace of hearts? We're probably not getting a queen to fold. Are we getting a jack to fold? Would a jack even bet like that? Bet on the flop. Bet small on the turn. Go for a hefty bet on the river? Like maybe. But I doubt it. It's more likely going to be a flush or a queen. I suppose there could be some sort of ace jack in there as well. King jack maybe? Maybe. 3-3 making a set on the turn here. Watts with a couple of nines. Sees a super small bet. Will likely call. Ace on the river. Goes check bet. And hopefully Watts folds. Great Dant with that set. What size do we go? 4 blinds? Both flush draws miss. We could even go bigger. Great Dant goes deep in the tank. 13.5. Watts quickly folds. Watts with a couple of threes this time. Great Dant with 10-8 suited. European with a jack and a 7. Doopity-doo. Doopity-doo. 13.5 blinds. Jack 7 makes a pair. European with the under pair. Backdoor flush draw for both players. We see a super small bet. 1.3 blinds into 5.2. European can't fold. Will call. Deuce on the turn. Doopity-doo. Do. I wonder what we do with our threes here. We could just triple barrel. Turn them into a bluff. We could check and be done with the pot. Gotta say, I like this option. Let's triple barrel. Let's go super big on the turn. 6.4 into 8 blinds. European finds the call. Ace on the river. Great card for Watts the bluff. Spades miss. Doopity-doo. Fire a bet. 20 blinds in the middle. 3-3. 16.8 blinds is the bet. European's deep in the tank. He's thinking about a hero call. Can you imagine if he makes this? Well, wee-wah. Finds the fold. Nice play by Watts. Whoo. European thought about a call there, and had he won that pot, that would have been like 40 blinds sliding his way. Whoa. European would have had over 100 bigs with about 60 left to collect. That's pretty crazy. Do. Anyways, what a swing in the tournament. Sir Watts, just behind European now, has a 8 and a 7. Great Dant with a couple of 5s. Thinking about a call or a jam. They go for their call. 9-6-3 flop. Watts is open-ended with the backdoor flush draw. Goes for a 4 big blind bet. Great Dant with a pair of 5s. Not a big fan of this big bet. Great Dant anyways. Not myself. Great Dant will call. 6 of spades on the turn. So another flush draw appears. 14 blinds in the middle. Watts sizing up a bet here. 8.6 blinds. Great Dant says, well. What do I do with 5 and a 5? We're not going to love just about any river. Deuce of hearts. Not a big fan of it with 5-5. 32 blinds in the middle. I suppose Watts could check. He does just rip it all in. And then Great Dant says, what do I do with 5s? Hearts get there. Doopity-doo. If he can find the call, I don't know. Do it. If he fucking calls with 5s. Huge pot going his way. Huge pot going Great Dant's way. 57 blinds for him. Watts has an ace and a 10. 36 bigs. They'll raise it on up. What a play by Great Dant. And we love the bluff by Watts. Queen and a 3 for European goes for the 3-bet. Watts can 4-bet all in or call. Folding seems out of the question. They go for the call. Ace 7-3 flop. Bottom pair with the backdoor flush draw for European. Could go for a little betski. 1.7 blind, so about 10% pot. Watts will eventually find some sort of action. 6.7 blinds is the raise. And European says, what do? I might just fold on the flop. That's what I would do. European says, let's go to the turn. 7 of diamonds. No help for European. 30 blinds in the middle. 22 behind for Watts. Do-ba-de-do-do-do-do-do. They bet 7.6, leaving 14 behind. Super interesting hand here. European with the Queen of Hearts says, you know what, on the flop I like this card. On the turn, I don't want it. Pair of 3s hit the muck. 2-2 for European. Jack 4 for Watts. Limp pot. Boppity bop bop bop. 10-5-3 flop. Boopity boo do 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 do. Doopity doo do do do. Flop goes check check jack on the turn. Good news for Watts. 2.3 blinds will slide their way. We'll see if he gets any on top of that. Do 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 do. Ace on the river. European probably just gonna check fold. We do block 4-2. I don't know how relevant that is right now. There's a pair of jacks. Probably feels pretty comfy with itself. Goes for a full pot size bet. Would love to see a raise from European, because I don't know what Watts would do with the pair of jacks. With the straight blocker as well. Super interesting hand. European just folds to the pot size bet. Queen and a jack. European will raise it on up. Great Dant with an 8 and a 5 in the big blind. Let's go to the flop. Sticks in a 3-bet here. 11.5 blinds to go. Man, I gotta say, I love what I'm seeing from Great Dant. They're putting the pressure on these other two players very well. And the 3-bet gets through. Doopity doo. Ace and a 10 for Watts. European with a King 4 suited. King 4 suited is one of those hands where we could 3-bet. They just play call this time. Ace Queen Jack flop. Good news for Watts. He's pretty well got the board locked up. Sweating backdoor spades and a 10, of course. Dippity doo. Very small bet. European can come along to the turn. 9 of hearts. So European just sweating 3 10s. Nope, that's Watts who's sweating 3 10s. European looking for those 3 10s. Doopity doo. Sees a large bet on the turn. Holy shit, what a horrific hand. Don't know how I called it so poorly, but I found a way. 4-3 for European. We'll limp it on in. Queen 8 for Watts. Watts raises and takes it down pre. Ace and a 2 for Watts. 3-4 for Dant, waiting in the big blind. Patiently. Faces a limp. Love to see a raise from Great Dant. 3.5 blinds to go. Nicely done. Sir Watts will come along with this AC doozy. Do we ever 3-bet? He does stick in the 3-bet. 14 blinds to go. Alrighty, Roo. And Great Dant will find the fold here. Doopity doo. The bet's just way too large. We're in position. Could you imagine if he 4-bet all in with the 4 and the 3? Not this time. King 9 suited for Watts. They'll raise it on up. 5-4 for European. We'll call. 8-4-4 flop. No spade for Watts. 3 of a kind for European. Watts really has nothing going on here. A couple of overcards. Sees the 10 of clubs on the turn. Again, just no help for Watts. European has this board locked up. 5 blinds will slide his way. He goes for an overbet on the turn and a quick fold from the king high. Oh, I see a couple of queens. European with a very playable 8-10 of spades. Limp pot? No, European goes for the big raise. 4 blinds. Now, if I'm Watts, I go for the call. Watts might stick in the raise here because it makes a lot of sense. They do 3 bet to 10 blinds. Doobity doo. My thing is, I just want to go to the flop against a wide range that's betting way too large. Ace, king, 8 flop, 2 spades for European. That's that bottom pair of 8s, the flush draw, backdoor straight draw. Boppity boo, bop boppity bee. Ace, no, that's a couple of queens for Watts, not an ace and a queen. He bets 4 blinds on the flop. European cannot fold. If we raise, we could buy the pot. 12 blinds to go, and what does Watts do now? 20 blinds, nope, 36 in the middle. 8 more to call, and Watts just finds the fold. Equities run real close there. European might even be the slight favorite with the 2 pair draw and the flush draw. But I mean, they run so close. Queens and that flush draw and the 2 pair draw. Backdoor straight draw. Boopity boo. Watts can't know his queens are good on the ace king 8 board. Anyways, we move along. Jack 3 gonna raise facing the limp. Ace 5 for Watts. Sees the ace 6-2 flop. Backdoor straight draw for Dant. We'll go for a little bet ski. Watts will find the call with the top pair with a shit kicker on such a dry board. 4 on the turn is super interesting. Great Dant does block the straight. 3-5. Boppity bop bop bop. To be fair, raising pre-flop, he could have 3-5 off. We find our way to the turn. Jack 3. Go for a big bet ski. Watts will call, make 2 pair. Great Dant makes the straight. This is horrific news for Watts. 27 blinds in the middle. Great Dant gets rewarded for their aggression. They'll rip it all in. Does he ever go smaller? I doubt it. He's just all in. Watts finds the call with the 2 pairs, and we're heads up now. Doopity doo. That's unfortunate for Watts. Slow played the top pair. And gets punished. But I mean, why wouldn't you give Great Dant the rope? He had the jack and the 3 of offsuit. Just got lucky there. 8-9 versus Queen 4. 9-7-2 flop. Shouldn't see too much fireworks here. But Great Dant does go for a little bet ski. 2.3 blinds into 7.2. European goes for the check raise to 7 bigs. And Great Dant can lay this one down. So we're playing heads up for about 15 grand? That's pretty crazy. Boopity boo, boop boopity boo. Do 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 do. As we start to even it on up, I wouldn't be surprised if they talk out a deal of some sort, where they just bring that number down. 115, like what would they play for? Maybe like 20k? Maybe they're just gonna battle it on out. Because again, these guys got dollars in the bank account. They're doing just fine. Doopity doo doo doopity doo. But the prize pool's pretty damn large. It's $1 million in the prize pool. 25k entry. Got what, 34 entries, and I think it was 8 re-entries. We're down to 2 players. European with that top pair of aces. In a 3-bet pot, we'll take it on down. Great Dant with a king and a 9. European with a queen and a 10. Boopity boo. Great Dant goes for the big raise pre. We get a call from the queen 10. Queen 6-3 flop. All diamonds. This is a super interesting hand. Great Dant with the second nut flush draw. Backdoor straight draws. An overcard. We'll go for a little bet ski here. 1.8 blinds. European with that top pair. And a fair kicker. 10 of clubs. See the 4 hearts on the turn. That's no help for Dant. 11 blinds in the middle. We'll see if he fires away. He's probably not getting this top pair to fold on the turn. Depending on the river, we'll see what happens. 8 blinds to go. European will tank call. Do we ever raise on the turn? I doubt it. 9 of diamonds on the river. That's good news for Dant. The 26 blinds. 27 will slide his way. He's going to go for a little bit more on top of that too. There's no straight flush draw possibilities, so you got the second nuts. He's going to go half pot. Do we call with top pair here? Weird spot for European. I've got no clue what to do, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a call. Yeah, they do end up finding it. That's a huge pot going Great Dance way. European does wake up with a couple of 9s. Great Dant with 10-4 suited. We'll go to the Jack 6-5 flop. It goes check, check, 10 on the turn. Good news for Dant. Horrific news for European's 9s. Hopefully they go for a little check here on the turn. And another 10 on the river. Great Dant can go for the check raise. We can go for the Betsky. European probably going to put a penny in the pot here. 13 blinds? Holy shit. If I'm European, I think I still call. Although, obviously, we don't like life right now. European sees the bad news. Doopity-doo. European finds the call. Great Dant playing a great game. Up to 110 blinds. Both players with an ace and an 8. European flopping 3 in a row. Great Dant flopping 3 in a row, obviously. With the backdoor flush draw. Boopity boo 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 boo. 7 blinds in the middle. 2.3 is the bet. Would love to see a check raised by European, but they're just gonna find the check fold. Doopity doo 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 doo. Queen 4 getting a walk. King Jack versus 5-8. Great Dant goes for the big raise pre. 9-6-2 flop. Great Dant with a straight draw to the 7. Any 5 or 8 also get the job done. European sitting here just with King High. 2 over cards. The backdoor straight draw. Sees a fairly large bet on the flop, about half pot. We'll find the call, deuce on the turn. Doopity doo 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 doo. Do 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 do. Great Dant go for a bet. Put some pressure on the King High, and he does. Half pot again, sizing up the river jam. Oh, the songs just suck. Ace on the river. 30 blinds in the middle. European's got 20 behind. I think this goes check check, but we would love to see a jam by Great Dant. Just buy the 30 blinds in the middle. Now he goes for the check, and European scoops a nice pot. Queen 10 for European, playing 50 blinds deep. Great Dant with a jack and a 9. Well, can you imagine if European makes the comeback here? Certainly possible. That was a big pot going his way. 9-4-2 flop goes check. Small bet. Do we raise on the flop? The board is so dry. Great Dant says, yes, let's raise. Boopity boo. European with the backdoor straight flush draw. We see Great Dant with the jack of spades blocking it. But European doesn't know that, obviously. Ace of hearts on the turn. Goes check. Do we just check with our Queen High? What do we do in European shoes? We're probably not winning this pot. Deuce on the river. I think with the ace of hearts on the turn, we just concede to that. And European checks on the river and sees the bad news. Queen 2 for Dant. We'll raise 3.5 blinds. European with an 8 and a 4 of the same suit. We'll call the big blind. I like what I'm seeing out of Dant with these big raises pre-flop. It's not something I would do at all, but Great Dant's doing a great job. 7-5-2 flop goes check check. King on the turn. European with a straight draw to the 6. Goes for a little Betsky here. 1.8 blinds into 7.2. Great Dant with that bottom pair. With the queen kicker finds the call. 3 on the river. European blocks ace 4, 4-6. Let's put in a bluff, European. I think it's going to work too. 13 blinds to go. Great Dant's not afraid of a hero call. Doopity doo. He's made one earlier with a couple of 5s, and it was very rewarding. It was for his tournament life. This is just a huge pot going his way. Nice pick off by Great Dant. He's back in the dominating first place position. He was always in first. Brendan, man, come up with some better words. 7-7 rips it all in. King and a 9 for European, a 4 and a 2 for Great Dant. Great Dant limps it on in, switching up the pace. European might raise up the King 9, and they do. 3 blinds to go. And Great Dant finds the fold. 9 and a 10 for Great Dant. European with a 5 and a 4. Limp pot. Great Dant checks it on back. King 8-3 flop. Doopity-doo. Flop goes check, bet, call? Do we raise? What the fuck do we do at 9-10? We are going to the turn, 9 of clubs. No help for European. But a card he could barrel. He goes 5.1 blinds, and what do we do with our pair of 9s now? Call. Would love to see it. Oh, we do. 6 on the river. European again blocks the straight draws. Or blocks the straight. 5-7. Boopity boo. Doopity doo 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 doo. Maybe you don't want a club. He's still all in, and if Great Dant calls, the show's over. To be fair, I think he's going to find the fold, but what do I know? Great Dant loves a good hero call. Do it. Find it. He found it! Oh my lord! Great Dant gets the W!
Congratulations, you are the winner.
Oh my lord, Great Dant. What a play! Picks up... What's the bet on the flop? So we get a limp pot? Limp pot. Doopity-doo. Holy shit! Great Dant with a couple of huge hero calls gets the W. King 8-3 flop, super dry, 1 big blind bet on the flop. Great Dant says, let's go to the turn. I got 3 in a row. 9 of clubs. European sitting here with 5 high. Would have loved to seen a club on the river. European says, I still block 5-7. Goes for the overbet on the turn. Interesting hand. Holy crap. Then Great Dant goes for the call. 6 on the river. European jams it all in for a slight overbet. Gotta say, I like the play by European. And then Great Dant just with a huge hero call. This is like his 3rd or 4th in the tournament. Gets the job done. Well played. Holy shit. Great Dant. Well-deserved final table. Gets the scoop title. Nicely done. Alrighty, I suppose that's the end of the show. So if you made it all the way through, thanks for checking this shit out. Hopefully we'll see you in another one. Until then, adios amigos.